All right, welcome to 6A Global Friday Night Training. I got Yuri on the line, myself, and we're going to go over a daily method of operation. So we all talk about daily methods of operations or routines or schedules or anything, and most people don't take them seriously. I'd say 98% of people in the world don't take their schedule or planners or anything seriously about how they work their lives. So they don't track it. They don't do anything that's effective. So today we're talking about effectiveness and efficiency. So we'll go on in this little presentation in the second slide. So why DMO? Well, first off, everything we do revolves around time. We have a finite amount of time in life. So you have to be efficient and effective with your time. So DMOs allow time management, efficiency, mapping out your processes, and you maximize your time and leverage in life. As our committee said, give me the largest, or give me the right size lever and I can move anything, right? So he's talking about you could move the whole globe if you had a lever that was long enough. So famous Greek thinkers were thinking the same thing a long time ago. So we all want time freedom, but most people, what are we doing to achieve it? Most people would be doing nothing. They're doing the same thing, expecting different results. Einstein said that's the definition of insanity. So what do we have to do? We have to do different things, and different things means changing our daily habits. Stephen Covey talks about this, 7 habits of highly effective people. This surrounds your daily method of operation. It's just coined differently. So the DMO is essential to this process, and it allows one to master one's actions and thus mastering their efficiency and effectiveness in life. Okay, so 7 effective habits equals your DMO. Go read the book if you haven't seen it. All right, so setting up a DMO. First, write down your routine of which you can commit an allotted amount of time to each day. So what I mean is some people do this full-time, some people do this part-time. But the biggest thing is for you to make that choice and commit that time each day. So committing this time each day is everything, because commitment is everything. If you don't do it each day, you won't be successful. It's the little things that add up over time. Like, I didn't become successful in network marketing all at once. I didn't just phone all my friends and go like, join my business. And it went, and I went millions of dollars in the air. And I'm like, oh my God, life has changed. It doesn't do that. It's day by day by day by day by day, rejection by rejection by rejection. You get a yes, rejection, rejection, yes. You know, they add up. So committing time each day is important. First, set the number of emails you're going to send, set the number of calls you're going to make, the number of meetings you'll book and complete in a week. In a day, track these things. Tracking your results is all about effectiveness, okay? You need to know how effective you are. I had to make 100 calls to make 1 sale. That's an important number to know, meaning you're batting 1%, meaning you have to make 100 calls to get a sale done. You have to make 1,000 calls to get 1 sale. You have to know what your effectiveness is and how it's growing or diminishing. What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? Without tracking your numbers, you have no idea about your efficiency and effectiveness in business. Okay, so tracking. This is the biggest part of this. So track how many people you talk to in the results, as I was saying. How many exposures it takes to close. It should take 5 to 8, okay? 5 gives you an 85% chance. 8 gives you a 95% chance. So anywhere in between is a really, really effective amount of exposure. So sitting down for a meeting, email, video, talking on the phone, lots of different ways to expose this. Sharing the water in our business is a big one. So track your success, because you're either improving or declining, and you only do this by recording it. I use a spreadsheet and interaction ratio. So what that means is I compile it and all the lessons learned from each sale, and I say whether I received a no, and eventually I receive a yes, right? So every time I receive a no, I type it in, what went wrong, what went right, sort of trying to learn my rhythm, what I did, what I didn't do. And then sometimes I get yeses, right? And I write down what I did right. And I literally ask the person, like, why did you buy this? Where did you find confidence in our sales process? Like, what did you gravitate towards that I did right that worked for you? Then you sort of learn their personality style and bracket this down. So what I do, find out if they're analyticals, drivers, whatever their personality style, and you like to map that is, find that out, learn it, and learn how you sold to them. Then when you find a personality style that's similar, you learn to identify these things so you can sell to them. I know it sounds difficult to start. It's actually not. Really easy spreadsheet to keep. If you can't figure out Excel, take a free 10-minute lesson online. You're going to have that down. So this will allow you to understand if your approach is working well. Okay. When I started, I needed to connect with 50 people, 50 in my warm market to make one sale. Okay. So it's a $5,000 device. Not everyone's light on this, but I had 50. So now I must connect with 10 people who I send information to, okay, to produce a sale. So I've increased my effectiveness by 500%. I'm 5 times more effective. So for every 9 no's I get 1 yes. And that 1 yes can pay me up to $2,720 a sale. I'm all right with my 9 no's. So I know that every time I hear a no, oh my gosh, I just made a few $100s on my way to my yes. So, collect those no's, because eventually you'll collect yeses too. That's the biggest point about this. Collect the no's so you can collect the yeses. Without collecting the no's, you can't collect the yeses. So important. It's so, so important. Hey, Amy. Don't worry, we'll have the first start of the recording on YouTube for you. So as we were saying, with tracking the results, it's like so important. And you just want to collect those no's so you collect those yeses. Basic network marketing in the end. Amy, can you throw yourself on mute? Okay. Thanks.
Maybe.
All right. So the last part of this little PowerPoint here is accountability. So the most important part of this for team members, for everybody, is you have to stay accountable, because as I said, it's about allotting that time for commitment and then doing the things that you're supposed to do. So if you're not accountable to someone, you're only accountable to yourself. Well, guess what? All of us fall off our own bus. We go and sit and watch Netflix, or we go and just go out for a beer, or we go out with our friends, or we don't allot the right amount of time. You got to commit that time, and you need other people to know you're committed. So use your upline to do this. Use your friends, your family. Say, I'm going to get to X point in my company by X time. That's so, so important, right? So set your goals really high and tell others you're setting them that high. And then all the time, people will ask you, well, did you achieve this? And you're going to work that extra hard, because what's the worst thing to say to people in the world? I failed, right? You don't want to say I failed. Everyone's kind of like gung-ho about that. Does it make sense? All right. And Amy, I'll go back over all this in a second with you. It's really short. Doesn't take very long. Yuri, do you have any questions so far? Because this is the end.
Okay, awesome. So when you look at your DMO, do you break it up? Do you break it up or compartmentalize certain actions? Like if you're focusing more on warm market versus cold, or is it just all lumped into one?
So my daily method of operations, again, Yuri, I allot certain amount of time for certain things. My warm market interactions are usually people that I come across on Facebook that gravitate towards it. So usually I'm attracting about 2 people a day for my warm market. And I don't allot much time for that. They are in my follow-up calls typically, because they've already checked out the website, plugged in their information, they're interested in getting more information. I use my lead pages to do that. So I allot a certain amount of time for follow-up calls. So I usually allot like an hour and a half for follow-up calls, and then I allot a couple hours for regular calls, and then I have my team section, which is about an hour a day, maybe a little more. And sometimes that in a long day I can stretch it to 8 hours, but I never work more than that. I didn't start working from home so I could work more than 8 hours a day. I really didn't. At the end of the day, because we do this for time freedom, I wouldn't be very effective or efficient with my time if I did work that long. So it's about allotting that time, getting really serious to the amount of calls you can make in that time. I find I can rattle off like 30 to 50 calls. Again, you don't connect with everybody on it in an hour. Typically I can go through. So if I allot 2 to 3 hours a day, I'm definitely getting through 100 or 150 numbers on that list per day. So you can amount, if I'm doing 20 days a month, I get through about 3,000 leads a month. Okay. So if you're even batting 1 out of 100, 1 out of 200 on that list, like you can close 15 people a month. You know what I mean? That's pretty powerful stuff, depending on the amount of connects that you're making. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So you're funneling warm market people through the process at least a little bit? Yeah.
So I funnel them straight through GPM Pro, our backlog sales thing that we have going, that Balaj set up. So I get them to enter their name and number like anybody else on my lead page, and they go into my follow-ups. And I follow up with all those leads, and I start deleting them. if people aren't serious, I'm only looking for business builders, not product sales anymore. I gave those up a long time ago because I realized that only business builders make you money in this business if you're going to be at all successful. So what I do is immediately, if they're only half committed, I get rid of them. Bang, 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 they're gone. I don't even follow up with those people. I pass them to a teammate. I usually pass them to one of my directs and say, follow up with this person. They're semi-serious, but you'll most likely get a product sale, and they handle that from there. And then they get a sale. They're super happy. And at the end of the day, their team grows and mine would, and I have to do less of that direct mentorship, and I have to mentor the people that I see really successful. So like in the end of the day, you want to pass people who are semi-successful down the line to your team, and you only want to work with people that you really think you can mentor and work with. As I said at the start, you want to gravitate towards those people you want to build a long-term relationship with, somebody you can spend hundreds of hours working with, because that's what happens. If you want to build a superstar, you're going to spend hundreds of hours with them. My best friends are from this business because I spent hundreds of hours making them lots of money together. And that's what happens. So you really have to choose who you want to put your time into. It's a big investment, right? So if that kind of answers your question, man.
Can I quote you on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. I spend hundreds of hours with these people, and that's why I'm so close with them. That's pretty cool. So then you have to think about it like a long-term, warm or cold, whoever you're interacting with, you got to picture this person, or if you can, okay, this person could be a long-term partner. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. And like, I won't even recruit people anymore that I don't really like. Like if I don't like their life and who they are, I move away right away, because I know that I'm going to detract from what they're doing in the end. So like either I'll pass them down the line. Like I'm only looking for, as I said, 6 people this year to work really hard with, so they can all be like Dylan's, Jacob's, Brandon's next year, so they can get to that level. I'm only looking for that because I want really successful people, and then we can build a great organization together. It's all about quality and not quantity in this business. It's about quantity to find your quality, right? But then it's making sure that you only grab onto the quality.
Okay.
If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Amy, I know you came in halfway through, so I'll stop this and go back through offline after I stop the recording here. Any other questions directly on this, Yuri? We're good?
We're good.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'll stop the share here. Thanks, guys, for listening. Okay.
Yeah, for sharing.